Youssef had always believed that life changed slowly. People talked about one moment that changed everything, but to him, life was more like water wearing down stone. Small disappointments, tiny sacrifices, quiet decisions made when nobody was watching. At 27, he lived in a small apartment in Dubai with walls so thin he could hear his neighbor's television every night. He worked 6 days a week at an electronics store inside a crowded mall where the lights never dimmed and the music repeated every 3 hours. Every morning, he woke at 6 a.m. Every morning, he told himself that things would eventually get better. He just didn't know when. His mother called him every Friday from Morocco. "Are you eating well?" she always asked first. "Yes." "Are you sleeping enough?" "Yes." "Are you saving money?" "A little." Most of those answers were lies. He skipped meals more often than he admitted. He slept poorly because of anxiety. And saving money felt impossible when rent, transport, and sending money home consumed almost everything he earned. Still, he never complained. His younger sister, Salma, wanted to become a doctor. His father's health had gotten worse after years of driving trucks across long distances. The family depended on Youssef more than they said out loud, so he continued. At work, customers treated him like part of the furniture. "Do you have a discount?" "Why is this expensive?" "Can you hurry up?" Most never looked at his face. His manager, Karim, constantly reminded employees that sales numbers mattered more than excuses. "If customers leave without buying, that's your failure," he said during every staff meeting. One afternoon, after a particularly exhausting shift, Youssef sat outside the mall waiting for the bus. The heat still rose from the pavement even though the sun had already disappeared. That was when he noticed the old man. He sat alone near the bus station bench holding 2 plastic grocery bags. One had ripped open, and oranges rolled slowly across the ground. People walked past without stopping. Youssef stood up automatically and helped gather the fruit. "Thank you," the old man said in Arabic. "No problem." The old man looked tired in a way Youssef understood deeply. "You work in the mall?" he asked. "Yes." "Long hours?" Youssef laughed quietly. "Very long." The man nodded. "I was a teacher for 38 years, he said. "People think hard work guarantees peace later in life. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it only teaches you endurance." Something about the sentence stayed with Youssef. Before the bus arrived, the old man handed him 1 orange. "You helped me," he said. "Take it." Youssef almost refused, but the man insisted. That night, sitting alone in his apartment, Youssef stared at the orange before peeling it. For reasons he couldn't explain, he felt emotional. Maybe because nobody had offered him something small, with genuine kindness in a very long time. Days turned into weeks. The routine continued. Wake up, bus, mall, customers, exhaustion, repeat. Then one evening, his father called unexpectedly. His voice sounded weak. "The doctor says I may need surgery." Youssef felt his chest tighten. "How much?" There was silence. Then his father quietly told him the amount. Youssef closed his eyes. It was more money than he had saved in 2 years. "I'll figure something out," he said immediately. After the call, he sat in darkness for nearly an hour. The pressure became physical. He thought about overtime, another job, borrowing money, selling his laptop, returning home, failing everyone. For the first time in years, he cried. Not loudly, not dramatically, just silently, with his face in his hands. The next morning, he arrived late to work. Karim noticed immediately. "You think this is a hotel?" he snapped in front of customers. "I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't improve sales." Normally, Youssef stayed quiet. But exhaustion changes people. I said I'm sorry. The store became silent. Kareem stared at him. You want to argue with me? No. Then act professionally. Youssef spent the rest of the shift trembling with anger. That night, he updated his old CV for the first time in 3 years. He sent applications everywhere. Hotels, offices, call centers, warehouses, anywhere. Most never replied. A few rejected him politely. One rejected him without even reading his full application. Weeks passed. Then, unexpectedly, he received a call from a small logistics company. The salary was slightly better. The hours were more reasonable. The office manager sounded respectful. He attended the interview wearing his only formal shirt. The manager, a woman named Lena, reviewed his resume carefully. You stayed at one job for 5 years, she said. Yes, that tells me something. Youssef expected another rejection. Instead, she asked, Can you start next month? For a second, he thought he heard wrong. Really? She smiled slightly. Yes, really. When he left the building, the city looked different. Not magical, not perfect, just lighter. He called his mother immediately. She cried before he even finished explaining. At the new job, things were not easy, but they were human. People said good morning. Lunch breaks existed. Nobody shouted daily. Lena treated employees like adults. One afternoon, she noticed Youssef staying late. You can go home, she said. I still have work. You'll finish tomorrow. He almost laughed. At his previous job, tomorrow barely existed. Months later, Youssef managed to send enough money home to help with his father's surgery. The operation succeeded. Salma continued studying. Little by little, life stabilized. Not perfectly, but enough. One Friday evening, nearly a year after meeting the old man at the bus station, Youssef saw him again. The man sat at the same bench. This time, Youssef approached first. You probably don't remember me, he said. The young man from the mall, the old man replied instantly. Youssef smiled. You remember. I remember tired faces, the man said gently. They spoke for almost an hour. About work, about Morocco, about aging, about loneliness in large cities. Before leaving, the old man asked, Are things better now? Youssef thought carefully before answering. Yes, he finally said, but not because life became easy. Then why? Because I stopped believing I deserved misery. The old man nodded slowly, as if the answer mattered. When Youssef boarded the bus home, he looked outside the window at the endless city lights. Thousands of people were still working, still struggling, still pretending to be okay. He understood now that most people carried invisible battles. The cashier who smiled mechanically, the driver stuck in traffic, the waiter balancing heavy plates, the security guard standing 12 hours. Everyone carried something. And sometimes the smallest kindness, a conversation, a patient voice, a single orange shared at the right moment, could keep someone moving forward. Years later, after earning a promotion and moving into a better apartment, Youssef visited Morocco during summer. His father walked more slowly now, but smiled more often. Salma had entered medical school. His mother still asked whether he was eating enough. Some things never changed. One night, while sitting on the rooftop of their family home under the warm summer air, Youssef realized something important. The life he once dreamed about had not arrived all at once. It came quietly, in pieces, in second chances. In difficult mornings survived. In moments when he nearly gave up, but didn't. He used to think success meant escaping hardship completely. Now he understood that real success was remaining kind without allowing the world to harden you. That was harder, and far more valuable. Far below, the sounds of the neighborhood drifted through the night. Children laughed. Someone played old music from a nearby balcony. A motorcycle passed. Life continued. And for the first time in many years, Youssef no longer feared the future. He simply welcomed it.